"Am I pretty?" I asked my mother. "You're interesting," she said. When I looked crestfallen, she added, "Well, it's better than what my mother said to me when I asked that question." "What did she say?" "She said, well, at least you're nice and clean."
"You need rouge. You are too pale. My mother put this on my cheeks when I went to a party."
Long strips of paper, about a foot wide, handed over in a scrunched up bouquet from a suitable social distance.
So my family was numerically male-dominated and male-chauvinist. Right through my childhood, I was constantly being told what I could or couldn't do as a girl by everyone.
I didn't think I was a real little girl, so perhaps I could be a fairy.
I was brought up one girl of 4 children. I didn't like being treated differently, especially when it meant losing out on all the fun things that my brothers could do.
Though I had a brother, I didn't know how boys felt. I certainly wasn't like him.
I danced boys' parts. I had brilliant jumps because I had boys' hips.
I think, oh, this is good quality stuff. Wouldn't mind just scribbling all over it. But I don't. I'm a good girl. I save it for its intended purpose.
I was proud to have beautiful arches. "See me do my dance," I would cry.
Your sense of gender is a deep, essential part of who you are, and I know from my trans friends that they always knew what gender they were, even though their bodies didn't match it. In my case, I always knew I was a girl, I wanted to be a girl, I never felt I'd been given the wrong gender, I just didn't accept what being a girl seemed to mean to everyone else.
I was first taken to the ballet when I was 5 to see Café. I was given the key to this kingdom at 8 with weekly ballet lessons, an initiation into its enticements and mysteries. Satin shoes, sequins, floaty dresses, sticky out dresses, pointed toes, 1st to 5th positions, French. I would put on the nightlight after my little sister had gone to bed and waft about our bedroom in an old chiffon nightie donated by my glamorous aunt and hoped she'd think I was a fairy.
A tomboy is, after all, a relatively normal category of girl, but my parents' interpretation of my behaviour was that I actually wished to be a boy. There's a world of difference between told you're a tomboy and being told you really wish you were a boy. I never wanted to be a boy, I just didn't see why being a girl had to mean what they said it did.
My first photo is of Vera Lynn. She died at 103 years. A male radio presenter on VE Day needed to confirm for us her hourglass dimensions. 36, 26, 36. My second photo is of myself, wrapped in white paper, no measurements, just proud to stand by her. My third, a very short video, goes through from Vera Lynn to my words on my strips of paper.
I didn't know how a girl should be, but it was more to do with not being real than not being a real girl. I certainly wasn't like the girls in Jackie magazine. My mother said I shouldn't waste my time on such rubbish. I didn't have the right hair, or the right teeth, or the right thought bubbles. It seemed, according to Jackie, that having a boyfriend would make me a real girl.
A part of me enjoys the feeling of disguising myself in these items so laid with connotation. It's a contradiction I've never figured out.
I realised that just being a girl, simply existing as a member of my gender, had always felt profoundly unsafe in my family. Between my father's male chauvinism and my mother's wish for me to be her little dolly, and my brother's reactions if I was treated as something special. Claiming my own femininity has always felt difficult for me.
Question: how can you tell if someone is a boy or a girl? Answer: you look in their knickers, of course. Mine say girl, aged 8 to 9.
That said, When the time comes to use it, to remember my gender, to start from a blank sheet, use these tabula rasa to gender me, I'm lured by their bandage-like quality. Want to wrap myself up in them like a cocoon or Egyptian mummy. String myself up like a puppet.
While making my little film, I felt I was claiming my real, deep, fabulous and utterly unique kind of femininity.
Nothing the crow can tell me, with its sooty sweep of wing and cracked voice snagging my elbow. Nothing about black or irreparable.
I was the prime age and gender of most anorexia nervosa cases, and I had all the character traits we associate with sufferers. I was a perfectionist, and I grew up looking at myself in ballet mirrors.
My mind and body tensed, became angry at the exercise, trying to be deformed. My mind couldn't agree to do this without embarrassment, a feeling of pretense and mockery and ignorance.
I'm intuitively entering into the space of what Ayala calls a universality of disablement, the pathology of broken bodies.
I look at the world from behind my crab armour. I'm protected, hiding, can't move, can't feel. Behind my unmoving carapace, I'm frantic, a swirling sword dance of reaction and anticipation. Does my armour hide me or reveal my secret self?
Not the gauze across the window, or the rain not clearing, or the teased out cirrus clouds making the blue just that bit less intense, can quite interpret. Instead, a stealthy snuffing out, a greying, a mute erosion, a fist of ragged edges, with doors suddenly appearing and tipped over water glasses, and the faces of strangers newly incomprehensible.
A more familiar place, delighting in the importance of taking sense away to allow other senses to grow. Heightened awareness of my surfaces and also of my context, the ground, the above, the behind and in front.
I don't really consider myself a disabled dancer. I have glaucoma and other eye disorders and am registered as sight impaired. But as it's something that's gradually happened, I also gradually accommodate. I find being in new situations quite hard, as so much of seeing is to do with understanding.
The moment I consider a part of my body has broken free, this means I've normalised the idea of breaking free. So there's nothing free about it.
The words broken, disobedient, and constrained apply particularly to one part of my life which has probably formed how I am today more than any other, which is my experience with eating disorders.
So who and what is this impeded Juliet? Too tall to fit in or be grounded in her body. Frozen body and emotions. A clumsy biped.
I found myself having difficulty with this task, but imagining doing it led me to make the installation that led to my film.
Secret, confident, private crap. Eyes looking, fixing, daring. Brown card shell rattling argumentatively.
I'm very aware of how easily I can damage myself. But the process of exploring restricted movements made me realise that as dance practitioners we are well placed to overcome physical impediments because of our body knowledge and our creative use of it.
I made this installation at the bottom of my garden. I created an impediment in the natural flow of the land, the red rope web trapping the trees as only humans can.
Empowered, manipulative, sexy thing. Posing, blunt, sinister, sleazy, controlled knowing, but not cooked.
I now reach for light as from a disused lake or building. Greenly through cobwebs send out tendrils, extend cilia. Listen for the crow, the dove, the gull, and like a thread from my breastbone to imaginary ringing constellations, the blackbird's silver.
Aesthetic is a space I live and breathe in. So it's also embodied in me. I am aesthetic. I'm aesthetic.
Choosing a body part to offer the camera was a choice between favourite parts, the best bits, and those I find displeasing. I like my hands and arms, my neck and ears, but not any of the squidgy bits. I want to scrape them off my nice clean skeleton.
The gap in my front teeth.
Every ballet class begins with good toes, naughty toes. Feet pointed to the centre of the group of another tiny tot ballerinas, we all shout, good toes. Then, on the next bar, we raise our feet to the ceiling, waggle our fingers and giggle, naughty toes. As if we learn morality from the simple pointing and flexing of feet.
My knees have supported me throughout my 70 years as a dancer, perhaps helping me with my elevation, which was in my early years something I was good at. But as a child I had knee ache, and this continued in various forms as an adult, and in my 60s began to stop me doing many things I enjoyed. Happily, in the last 6 months, my knees don't bother me anymore. I celebrate them.
This is me when I was young. Warrior, with my rune-cast spear, taking up my quest, facing the monsters that loomed around me with steadfast eye and defiant chin. Strong in back, shouldering the burden, the wild hind leading me into the forest of truth.
I want everything to be perfect, or at least good.
I found my torso, carried my energy in two directions, getting information from my roots, the ground, and in turn up into the movement and mind, my branches, feeding my life, knowing that seasons change my tree and time too, but there are always new directions.
But as soon as the dancer is observed, whether directly by an audience or indirectly through a camera, their presence and movement are affected by the awareness of observation. You become self-conscious. What should I wear? Is this my best side? Am I standing straight? Is there spinach in my teeth?
Because I grew up with a slim body, was tall, and had good skin and fine enough conventional features, I was judged attractive by others. Yet I've always felt comments along the lines of, "You're a classic beauty," sort of imprisoned me. Put me in a prejudged display box, suggested my body belonged to the observer's gaze before it belonged to me.
Shoulder blades are fascinating because of what they can do. The shoulder joint is one of the most interesting parts of the body in all the ways it can rotate, support you, carry you. Watching the muscle and bone work there shows the beauty and complexity of movement.
My arched back. I will never know how my body would have been if I hadn't studied ballet from the age of 2 to 24. I didn't have the looseness in my hips to turn out naturally as ballet demanded. This was forced on my child body, only possible if I arched my back to accommodate this need.
A little saggy, but not belly round, not a comfortable granny body. I was still going to be lean and strong and lithe, dancing my wisdom to the world. Not fat.
The perfect ballet dancer. The painted black figure had sat on my windowsill ever since. Now, 40 years later, I realise I don't need her or relate to her anymore, nor do I need to pass her on to anyone else.
Body, a little worn, but hale and hearty.
On discovering what is inside the body that needs to be danced, rather than what wants to be seen. A genuine, unmediated expression through the body of the performer, whatever and however it is.
From the autumn leaves I'd hold under the brook near the reservoir to make fairy gold, to the voice of my paternal grandmother telling us stories about Germany and music, to certain modernist concrete structures which made me want to jump, dance, sing, just being by or in them, to the way Philip Guston layered oil paint on his canvas, to the students who begin to find little snatches of their own voice in essays, and so much more. All of these are beauty.
Getting squashed, not realising, not knowing, not thinking, slowly compressed.
Always there is the grinding down effect of the ever-present shadow of coronavirus and the impacts it has on our sense of ourselves in the world, our fears and hopes.
Isolated body. Here, in isolation. What are these hands for? Can't touch anyone. What's this body for? Can't touch anyone.
When I was little, my mother was always forgetting about me. Not that I remember this, you understand, but she used to tell me this story and that, fondly smiling as if they were things I'd done myself.
Reaches out to no body, touches own body and earth around her.
I think, here I am, sitting at the kitchen table to eat again. Here I am, on my floor cushion, ready to watch TV. Here I am, getting into bed once more at the end of another day, pretty much the same as the last one.
My body didn't change through lockdown, but it's changing now. I miss my friends, but my life stayed much the same.
I am more aware of my physical self in relation to the indoor space. I look down at my body, at my face in the mirror. Who are you? Why are you?
Urgent new message. Stay away from others. Avoid contact. It's illegal.
Everything that was open and free, suddenly closed and private, but not. The freedom of movement, exploring, unseen, losing the outside eye, but not. Now more so, the eyes are everywhere. Internal, of course, but external, very public.
How have you found connection with people in this time? Has it been through voice calls, video calls, meetings?
I am looking at and arranging my body as art in this cluttered, cramped, domestic space in a way I have never done. But the dominating relationship has been with the screen and my reflection in it.
Only possible to share the dance through glass. Touch it, slide on it, squeaky clean. Nothing hidden, all revealed. Is this all we can touch? Shut in our boxes. Run away. Find the sea. Float a little. Free.
My thoughts last as long as soap bubbles. Why have I come into this room? What was it I was going to do? Dancing for the camera, editing video. Me. Some more of me. Zoom and Skype. Oh God, me again.
And the ways that we move through the world now and the way we experience our own bodies is profoundly different from how it was half a year ago. This has changed our movement practices as dancers and also how we interact and communicate with others.
We're doing a duet together all the time now. In and out, close, apart, then close again. Sensing, listening, tuning in, offering, receiving. It's a strange kind of intimacy with my partner, my friend, my lover. I know this dance so well. It's my oldest dance.
In contrast to the confinement and stillness of my small rooms, what I have loved most outdoors has been the sky, the movements of the clouds and air, the possibility of sending my gaze into infinity and feeling the wind on my skin, limitless.
Entertaining solitude as a sweet destiny, an inward goingness of spirit. This quiet liberty, momentary reprieve from the course of life, keeping a safe distance.